welcome back to Prime Wealth. It's so great to have you with us today.
Absolutely, Jordan. Today's episode is all about something that's been a hot topic lately: evergreen sales for online courses. You know, those courses that keep selling even when you're not actively promoting them.
Right? It's such a game changer for anyone looking to create a steady stream of income. And for those of you over 40, this could be a fantastic opportunity to leverage your expertise and build financial security.
Exactly. We're going to dive into how to set up your course for success, how to market it effectively, and ways to automate your sales process so you can focus on what really matters.
Plus, we'll discuss common pitfalls to avoid and share some real-life examples of people who've successfully made this work for them. It's all about practical, relatable advice you can actually use.
And let's not forget, we'll also touch on how to price your course to ensure you're maximizing your earnings without undervaluing your expertise.
So if you've ever thought about creating an online course, or you already have one and want to take it to the next level, stick around.
There's a lot to cover, and it's going to be an insightful conversation.
All right, let's jump right into it. What's the first step for those looking to create an evergreen course? You know, Alex, when we talk about financial security, especially for folks over 40, it really hits home for a lot of people. With everything that's been happening in the economy lately, I think many are feeling the pressure to reassess their financial strategies.
Absolutely, Jordan. It's interesting because people in that age group are often at a critical juncture. They're thinking about retirement, maybe even helping kids with college, and potentially caring for aging parents. It's a lot to juggle, right?
For sure. And then you throw in factors like inflation. It's not just a number anymore. It's impacting how far people's savings will actually stretch in the future. I mean, I read recently that inflation is eating away at purchasing power more than many realize.
Exactly, and that can be really unsettling. For someone over 40, they might have a good chunk saved up, but with the cost of living rising, it feels like that money is just disappearing. It makes planning for retirement seem even more daunting.
Right? And it's not just about having a number in a retirement account. It's about feeling secure enough to actually enjoy those years when they come. People want to travel, spend time with family, or even pursue hobbies they've put off. But if they're worried about money, that enjoyment can quickly fade.
Yes, and I often hear from clients that the emotional side of money can be just as important as the numbers. It's about peace of mind. I remember working with a client named Tom. He was in his early 50s, and he had been so focused on saving that he didn't realize how much stress he was carrying.
What happened with Tom?
Well, he had a solid savings plan, but he was constantly worried about market fluctuations and whether he'd have enough for retirement. When we sat down and mapped out where he was, we found that he was on track, but he just needed a little reassurance and a clearer perspective on his investments.
That's a great example. So many people are caught up in the day-to-day worries that they lose sight of the bigger picture. And when they finally take stock of their situation, it can be a relief to realize they're doing better than they thought.
Exactly. And that's where having a strategy can really help. It's about more than just saving. It's about making your money work for you in a way that aligns with your life goals. The world is changing, and so are the rules of engagement for personal finance.
Yeah, and with advances in technology, online courses have become a game changer. They provide flexible learning options for those who want to get more savvy about their finances, especially for people over 40 who may feel intimidated by traditional financial advice.
Right. They can learn at their own pace, and the best part is they often get updated content, so they're not just learning outdated principles. They're getting the latest information that reflects today's economy, which is crucial given how rapidly things can change.
I think that's really important. With the rise of remote work and side hustles, people have more opportunities to create additional income streams, but they need to know how to manage that income effectively, especially as they approach retirement.
Absolutely. I've seen people pivot their careers later in life, taking online courses to gain new skills, like a woman named Linda, who was in her late 40s and decided to pivot from her corporate job to freelance consulting. She invested in an online course about marketing strategies and, within a year, was earning significantly more than she did in her old job.
That's incredible. It's a perfect example of how embracing new opportunities and learning can really transform someone's financial situation. And I think many listeners can relate to feeling stuck or unsure about how to make that change.
Definitely, and in this age of information, there's a wealth of resources available. People just need to take that first step. Whether it's a course on investing, budgeting, or even emotional intelligence and finance, it can provide the tools they need to take control of their situation.
And it's empowering, right? When people feel they have the knowledge to make informed decisions, they tend to be more proactive about their finances instead of reactive. They're not just waiting for retirement to happen to them.
Yes, and that's key. It's about taking ownership. And let's not forget the impact of community. Many online courses offer forums or groups where people can connect, share experiences, and support each other. That can be a huge boost, especially when you're navigating something as complex as personal finance.
Oh, absolutely. I think having that support network can make a world of difference. It's like, instead of feeling isolated in your journey, you're part of a community that's all learning together. That's such a comforting thought.
And that comfort can translate into action. When people feel supported, they're more likely to implement what they've learned. It's not just about consuming information. It's about applying it to create real change in their lives.
Exactly. So for anyone listening who's been feeling overwhelmed or uncertain about their financial future, there's hope. Investing in yourself through these courses can open doors that you may not even realize are there.
And it's not just about the financial aspect either. It's about building confidence, reducing stress, and ultimately improving your quality of life. Taking those steps now can have a profound impact on your future.
So with that in mind, let's dive into some core strategies that people can consider as they think about their financial education and building that security they crave. So when we talk about evergreen sales for online courses, where do you think someone should start?
Well, I'd say the first step is really understanding your audience. You want to know who they are, what they need, and what problems your course solves for them.
Right, so it's not just about creating content, it's about connecting with those potential students?
Exactly. You could have the best course in the world, but if you're not speaking to the right people, it's like shouting into a void.
So how do you go about figuring out who your audience is?
A great way to start is by creating customer personas. Profiles of your ideal students. Think about their age, interests, pain points, and goals. It helps to visualize who you're marketing to.
That makes a lot of sense. Once you have that clarity, what's next?
The next step is to ensure your course content is relevant and valuable to them. This means updating your course material regularly. You don't want to be offering outdated information.
What's a practical way to keep your content fresh?
One approach is to set a regular review schedule, maybe every 6 months or so. During this review, you can assess the course content, gather feedback from students, and see if there are any new developments in your field that need to be addressed.
That's a good strategy. And what about the sales aspect? How do you keep that evergreen?
The sales funnel. You've got to have a well-defined funnel in place. Start with creating a lead magnet, something that offers real value for free, like a free mini course or an ebook.
So this lead magnet is like a way to draw people in, right?
Exactly. Once they find value in your lead magnet, they're more likely to consider your full course. But remember, your follow-up is crucial here. You want to nurture that relationship.
How do you keep that relationship going?
Email marketing is a powerful tool. Regular newsletters, updates, and valuable content can keep your audience engaged. You can share success stories from past students or even sneak peeks of upcoming content.
That sounds like a great way to build trust. And what about pricing?
Pricing can be tricky. You want to strike a balance between perceived value and accessibility. A good rule of thumb is to research similar courses in your niche and see what they're charging.
So a little market research can go a long way?
Absolutely. And don't forget to test different price points. You might find that a slight adjustment can significantly impact sales.
And what about promotions? Should you offer discounts?
Discounts can be effective, especially during launch periods or special events. Just be careful not to devalue your course. Maybe consider a limited time offer instead of a blanket discount.
That's a smart approach. It creates urgency without undermining the value of what you're offering.
Right. And speaking of urgency, consider using countdown timers on your sales page to encourage immediate action.
That's a clever tactic. Now, what about the actual sales page itself? What elements should it have?
A solid sales page should include a clear headline, compelling copy, testimonials, and a strong call to action. It should answer common questions and objections.
Testimonials can be so powerful. How do you gather those?
After your students complete the course, reach out for feedback. Ask them specific questions about their experience and how the course helped them.
So it's about making it easy for them to share their success?
Exactly. And don't forget to showcase those testimonials prominently on your sales page.
I see how all of this ties together. Once you have everything set up, how do you maintain that evergreen status?
Continuous engagement is key. Keep your community active through forums or social media groups. Regularly check in with your students, answer questions, and celebrate their progress.
Community building can really enhance the learning experience, huh?
For sure. It fosters a sense of belonging, and engaged learners are more likely to recommend your course to others.
And word of mouth is such a powerful marketing tool.
Absolutely. Also, consider offering affiliate programs. Happy students can become your best salespeople.
That's a brilliant idea. So it's all about building a solid foundation and nurturing those relationships over time.
Yes, but let's not forget about common pitfalls.
Right. What are some of the mistakes people make when trying to set up evergreen sales for their courses?
One major pitfall is neglecting to update content. If you're not keeping your course relevant, you risk losing your audience's interest.
And what about overcomplicating things?
Oh, that's a big one. Sometimes people think they need to have everything perfect before launching. But, it's better to start small and iterate over time.
That makes sense. It's about taking action rather than waiting for perfection.
Exactly. And remember to track your metrics. If you're not keeping an eye on your sales data, you won't know what's working and what isn't.
That's a great point. Being proactive can really save you from future headaches.
Right. So those are the main strategies to consider when building your evergreen sales approach.
I love how actionable all of this is. Now let's transition into exploring those common pitfalls in more detail. So Alex, when it comes to online courses, there are definitely some common pitfalls that people fall into. What would you say is one of the biggest mistakes folks make right off the bat?
Well, one major mistake is thinking that just creating the course is enough. They put in all this effort, but then they don't think about the marketing strategy. It's like building a beautiful store in a remote area with no foot traffic.
Right. It's a tough realization when you've put so much work into something and it doesn't get the attention it deserves. How can someone recognize if they're falling into that trap?
A good sign is if you're not seeing any engagement or sales after launching. If your course is out there, but no one seems to be talking about it or signing up, that's a red flag. It might mean your marketing strategy needs a serious rethink.
Got it. So what's another common issue that crops up?
Another one is not updating the content regularly. Course materials can become outdated pretty quickly, especially in fast-moving fields like tech or finance. If you're not refreshing your content, your course can lose its value.
That makes sense. I mean, if someone signs up for a course on digital marketing, they're expecting the latest strategies, not something from 5 years ago.
Exactly. And the danger sign here is feedback. If you start getting comments or reviews saying the content feels stale or outdated, that's a clear indicator you need to take action.
And what about pricing strategies? I imagine that could also be a tricky area.
Absolutely. Many people either undervalue their course or overprice it without understanding their audience. If you set the price too low, you might attract the wrong crowd. And if it's too high, you could scare potential customers away.
So how do you find that sweet spot?
A good approach is to research similar courses in your niche. Look at what they're charging and how they position themselves. You can also consider offering tiered pricing or special launch discounts to gauge interest and adjust accordingly.
That's a smart way to test the waters. Are there any other pitfalls that come to mind?
Sure. Another common mistake is failing to build a community around the course. People love to connect, share experiences, and support each other, especially in learning environments. If you leave your students hanging after they enroll, you could lose that engagement.
That's so true. Creating a sense of belonging can really enhance the learning experience. What are some signs that you might be neglecting this aspect?
If you notice that students aren't interacting with each other or you don't see many questions in your forums, that's a big indicator. Plus, if you're getting feedback that students feel isolated or confused, that's a clear signal that you need to foster more community interaction.
And I imagine it's not just about creating the course material, but also about being present for your audience.
Exactly. Being responsive and engaging can make a huge difference. If you're not there to answer questions or provide support, it can really impact their learning experience.
How about tech issues? I can imagine that could be a nightmare for course creators.
Oh, for sure. Tech problems can derail everything. If your platform is buggy or difficult to navigate, students will get frustrated and may drop out. It's crucial to choose a reliable platform and test everything before launch.
What signs should someone watch for to identify these tech issues?
Look for feedback about the user experience. If students mention difficulty accessing materials or navigating the site, it's time to address those issues. Regularly testing the platform yourself can help catch problems before they affect your audience.
That's such a good point. It's easy to overlook the tech side when you're focused on content. What about feedback? How do you see that fitting into the whole process?
Well, not seeking feedback can be a big mistake. Many creators launch a course and then sit back waiting for the reviews to roll in without actually asking for input. You really need to reach out and understand what your audience thinks.
Yeah, proactive feedback can be so valuable. How can someone effectively gather this feedback?
Using surveys post-course completion is a great way. You can also engage with students throughout the course, asking them what they like, what they'd change, or any additional resources they wish they had. This ongoing dialogue keeps you connected.
And it shows that you care about their experience, right?
Exactly. It builds trust and lets them know you're invested in their learning journey. Plus, it can give you insights on how to improve future iterations of your course.
Speaking of iterations, how often should someone consider reevaluating their course?
I'd recommend at least once a year. But if you're in a fast-paced industry, you might want to do it even more frequently. Keeping your content fresh and relevant is key to long-term success.
And that can help maintain student engagement too.
Absolutely. If they know they're getting updated materials, they'll be more likely to recommend your course to others and come back for more.
Wow, there's definitely a lot to consider. Would you say these pitfalls apply to all online courses, or are there specific types that might be more susceptible?
While many of these pitfalls are common across the board, courses in rapidly changing fields, like technology or health, might face more pressure to stay updated. On the other hand, courses in more stable areas might not need as frequent updates, but still require engagement and community building.
That's a helpful distinction. So if someone finds themselves in one of these pitfalls, what can they do to recover?
First, it's important to assess the situation honestly. Look at your metrics, feedback, and engagement levels. Identify the areas that need improvement and create a plan to address them. Whether it's revamping your marketing strategy or updating your content, take it step by step.
That makes sense. So recognizing the signs early and taking action can really turn things around.
Exactly. It's all about being proactive and adaptable. The online course landscape is constantly evolving, and staying on top of those changes can make a big difference.
So those are some immediate steps you can take. Now, let's bring everything together. So, Alex, let's get into some immediate steps our listeners can take to really make their online courses shine, especially in terms of evergreen sales. What's the first thing they should do?
Yeah, I think the first step is to really evaluate your current course content. Take a good look and ask yourself, is this still relevant? Sometimes we create something that feels great at the moment, but over time, it might need some refreshing.
Right, it's like a garden, isn't it? You have to tend to it regularly to keep it flourishing. So should they be looking for specific areas to update?
Exactly. Look for outdated information or sections that might not resonate with your audience anymore. You might also want to consider audience feedback. If you have reviews or comments, those can be gold mines for knowing what to tweak.
That makes total sense. So once they've identified what needs updating, what's the next step?
Well, I'd recommend setting a timeline. Don't just dive in without a plan. Break it down into manageable chunks. For example, if you have 10 modules, maybe focus on updating 2 each week. This way, it feels less overwhelming.
And I imagine this helps keep your motivation up too, right? Small wins lead to bigger successes.
Absolutely. And as you're updating, think about incorporating some multimedia elements. Videos, infographics, maybe even quizzes. This can really enhance engagement and make the learning experience more enjoyable.
You mentioned feedback earlier. How can they effectively gather that from their audience?
Great question. You can use simple tools like Google Forms or SurveyMonkey to create surveys. Just ask direct questions about what they liked, what they found confusing, or what they wish they had more of. You'd be surprised how willing people are to share their thoughts.
And I guess it's important to actually act on that feedback, right?
Definitely. It shows your audience that you value their opinion, and it helps you improve your course. It's a win-win situation.
So after updating the content and gathering feedback, what should be next on their checklist?
They should focus on marketing strategies. It's crucial to get the word out about your Evergreen course. Think about creating an email campaign, maybe even segmenting your audience to tailor your messages more effectively.
Oh, I love that idea. Personalization can really boost engagement. Do you have any recommended tools for email marketing?
Sure. Platforms like MailChimp or ConvertKit are user-friendly and offer great analytics. You can see what's working and what's not, which is super helpful.
Speaking of analytics, how important is it for listeners to track their course performance over time?
It's essential. You want to know how many people are enrolling, what your completion rates are, and how your sales are trending. You can use Google Analytics for your website or the analytics tools provided by your course platform.
That's such a crucial part of the process. How about for those who might feel overwhelmed with all this information, any tips for starting small?
For sure. Start with one small update or marketing strategy each week. You don't need to overhaul everything at once. Maybe this week, focus on just updating your course description or running a simple social media ad.
That's really encouraging. It feels much more manageable when you break it down like that. What about habits they should build to keep this momentum going?
Consistency is key. Set aside dedicated time each week for course updates and marketing. Even just an hour or 2 can make a big difference over time. Also, consider joining a community or forum where you can share ideas and get support from others in the same boat.
That sounds like a great way to stay motivated. Connecting with others can really help keep the fire going.
Absolutely. And don't forget to keep learning. There are tons of resources out there, from books to podcasts that can provide new ideas and inspiration.
Any specific books or resources you'd recommend?
Definitely check out The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. It's not specifically about online courses, but the principles of testing and iterating are very applicable. Also, Influence by Robert Cialdini can give you insights into marketing strategies that really work.
Those sound like great reads. So as they implement these updates and strategies, what's the best mindset to adopt?
Stay open to learning and adapting. It's okay to make mistakes along the way. Each setback can be a lesson that drives you towards success.
That's such a reassuring thought. It's all part of the journey, right?
Exactly. And remember, the goal is not just to make a sale, but to create a valuable learning experience for your audience. When they succeed, you succeed.
So those are some immediate steps you can take. Now let's bring everything together. So as we wrap up our conversation about online course updates and those evergreen sales strategies, let's highlight a few key points.
Absolutely. First off, we talked about the importance of keeping your course content fresh and regularly updated. That's crucial for maintaining engagement and ensuring your students get the best value.
Right, and then there's the aspect of marketing, like building a strong online presence. You can't underestimate how much that can drive sales over time.
Exactly. And don't forget about the power of testimonials and social proof. They can really help in building trust with potential students, making them more likely to invest in your course.
Yeah, and we also touched on the idea of creating a community around your course. Engaging with your learners can enhance their experience and lead to more referrals, which is a win-win.
For sure. And finally, we discussed the value of offering bonuses or incentives. Those little extras can make a big difference in attracting new students.
So, with all these strategies in mind, Remember that building financial security and freedom is a journey, not a sprint. You're not alone in this. Every step you take counts.
Absolutely. And if you found today's episode helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to drop a comment. And if you know someone over 40 who might benefit from this information, share it with them.
Next time, we'll dive into rental gear, looking at cameras, tools, and equipment. It's going to be an exciting discussion about how to make smart investments in the things you use.
Yeah, I can't wait for that conversation. We'll see you then.